Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the most bombastic memory sequences in Assassin's Creed games.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Memory Block 7, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, but you know him well. And I doubt very much you'd take his life as willingly as you've taken mine.
After defeating Robert de Salabe and revealing the Templar plot to kill King Richard III, Altair must investigate de Sable's claims that Al-Mu'alim has been corrupted. Upon returning to Masyaf, he discovers his assassin brothers are being manipulated. He fights his way through, and we get the mind-bending boss fight against Al-Mu'alim himself, who has gone mad with power after getting his hands on the Apple of Eden. Though the boss fight is a little tedious, we can't fault the narrative weight of the last sequence in the game, as it reveals that the Apple is a piece of advanced technology, and that this wasn't the straightforward historical romp we thought. Desmond returns to the present and finds Subject 16's gruesome messages, and the game ends. What a ride. Sequence 9, Assassin's Creed Unity.
Get out of there this instant!
Cut the ropes! I'll cover you!
Oh my!
While Unity's last sequence is also spectacular, covering the cult of the Supreme Being, the downfall of Robespierre, and the final boss fight against Germain, we're choosing an earlier sequence. In this one, Arno and Elise are in the throes of their alliance and opt to escape over the rooftops in a stolen hot air balloon.
Ignore them!
This chase, combined with these two finally working together, makes the sequence easily the most fun in the game, especially as Arno pursues Elise while she defends him from the rooftop snipers, and they bicker. They top it all off with a night of passion, giving us hope, just for a moment, that maybe things will work out for these two.
You cheated.
You took too long.
I love you.
Sequence 6, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
I shall accompany Shay.
Sir, with respect, are you sure that's wise?
As Grand Master, I must investigate this precursor matter to the end.
We have another closing sequence here when Shay and Haytham Kenway pursue Achilles Davenport and Liam O'Brien far north into the Arctic. The Arctic gets points for being one of the most unique settings in an Assassin's Creed game. Not only does this sequence have the dramatic chase into the Arctic Circle and a battle over another precursor artifact, not to mention Haytham brutally wounding Achilles as a warning to the assassins, but we get the final corrupted memory.
You're the traitor.
This is the memory that joins up with the opening of Assassin's Creed Unity, as Shay infiltrates Versailles, encounters a young Arno and Elise, and then assassinates Charles Dorian, putting the events of the next game into motion.
The American Revolution undid your Templar business.
Then perhaps we shall start a revolution of our own.
The Isle of Sky Arc, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
And you are? Your opponent.
While the mythology games don't have the sequences like the older games do, Valhalla did include arcs. These were long storylines tied to Eivor forging alliances with specific regions. The most memorable for our money, though, wasn't even in the game at launch, but added later. Eivor heads to the Isle of Skye in Scotland and encounters Kassandra.
So is this Randvi good with an axe? She is. Much better than you. I prefer a spear.
The two have a brief fight before realizing they're not enemies at all, and then join forces. Kassandra even saves Eivor's life at one point, and this was a very fun way to catch up with our favorite Greek hero and see how the last 1500 years have been treating her.
If your love survived this, Nothing stands in your way.
Sequence 4. Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
How shall we proceed? Oh, with all respect, Mr. Darwin, I believe I should proceed alone. After all, we wouldn't want to attract any unwanted attention.
Jacob finds out that the Templars are peddling something called soothing syrup to London's poor and decides to investigate, which miraculously leads him to befriending Charles Darwin. After he helps Darwin burn down the factory where it's being made, Jacob goes straight to the source, Dr. Elliotson in Lambeth Asylum.
Well, as you've just witnessed, the application of too much pressure can sometimes result in unexpected outcomes. Unfortunately, it appears I've ruined the organ.
The Asylum assassination level is easily the most memorable in the whole game, even more than infiltrating Waterloo or the Bank of England. If you go the unique assassination route, Jacob takes the place of a cadaver and kills Elliotson in the middle of a lecture, making this sequence one of our all-time favorites.
Since both specimens...
Sequence 9. Assassin's Creed 3.
Evening, Connor. I see you made it here in one piece.
Recovered from your beating, then?
After spending years hunting Templars in the American colonies, Connor finally meets his father, Haytham, and throughout Sequence 9, the two of them begrudgingly work together to track down Benjamin Church. Players were certainly beginning to miss Haytham after spending so much time with him during the intro, so it was fun to reunite and see Connor learn about the Templars and what they really want.
The people have made their choice, and it was Washington.
The people chose nothing.
They have a lot of interesting conversations about how the Templars and Assassins have the same goals, but disagree on their methods. Haytham even joins Connor on a voyage south into the Caribbean to assassinate Church. It's a shame they couldn't put their differences aside permanently.
I will wait here then.
Of course you will.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to come along and hold your hand, perhaps? Provide kind words of encouragement?
Sequence 10. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag.
Jesus, Roberts! Have you gone mad?
Most of this sequence is concerned with Bartholomew Roberts, as Edward strikes up an uneasy alliance with this notorious pirate to locate the observatory. After doing Roberts' dirty work to find the blood vials they need, Roberts finally takes him to the observatory, on the northern coast of Jamaica, where he reveals the true nature of the treasure the Assassins and Templars are fighting over.
Sorcery, that's what it is. Not so! Every mechanism that gives this device its light is a true and physical thing. Ancient, yes.
The observatory is an ACII temple containing a crystal skull, which Bart uses to track people across the globe via the samples of blood contained in the phylacteries. And of course, Bart betrays Edward and sets his downfall into motion. The rest of the game is spent tying up the loose ends from this memory sequence.
That's the beauty of a democracy. The many outvote the one. Oh, you could sail with me, but with a temper as hot as yours, I fear you'd burn us all to cinders.
Sequence 5, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
The count is complete. Va bene. Kill him.
No.
Ezio hunts down many targets in Rome, but few are as memorable as the Banker, the name given to Juan Borgia the Elder. He's just as corrupt as all the other cardinals in Rome at this time, and Ezio needs to get creative when it comes to gaining access to him. In the first memorable moment, Ezio climbs into the Pantheon via a hole in the roof and disguises himself as a Borgia guard.
Cesare, he's here. Luigi has been killed. We discovered his body at the Pantheon.
Luigi? We just let him in.
He then needs to carry a chest of money through the city, guessing where to go based on the other guards' reactions. Finally, we have In and Out. Upon finding the banker's location, Ezio needs to sneak into some ancient ruins and kill him in the middle of a debauched orgy. Sequence 8. The End of an Era. Assassin's Creed Revelations.
This will lead you to the Byzantines in Cappadocia. Destroy them if you can.
You have done well, Tariq.
The perennial black sheep of the franchise is Revelations, but it would be a mistake to overlook it since it has some of the most spectacular sequences in any AC game. The final act has the memorable mission in the underground city in central Turkey, but even the chase while the city burns down isn't as exhilarating as the parachute sequence at the very end of the game. The game's villain, Prince Ahmet, kidnaps Ezio's latest love interest and eventual wife, Sofia Sartor. Ezio rescues her, but then his parachute ends up attached to the carriage she's driving, and he has to dodge buildings while assassinating enemies on horseback. It culminates in a cliff-top boss battle, as Ezio and Ahmet battle while falling. Sequence 9, Carnivale, Assassin's Creed 2.
You have our gratitude, Ezio.
Why is it wherever you go, trouble follows?
Antonio, I trust you know why I'm here.
It's close between Sequence 9 and Sequence 14 for Assassin's Creed 2, as Ezio pursues Rodrigo Borgia to the Sistine Chapel. But we've gone for the former because you just can't beat seeing Venice during its world-famous Carnivale. The sequence begins with a dramatic mission in which a courtesan is murdered and Ezio pursues the killer, and then develops into Ezio attending the Carnivale to try and win a golden mask by competing in various challenges. Challenges aren't difficult, but it all adds to the immersion of the setting. We like this one even more than the previous sequence that ended with Ezio using Leonardo's flying machine to break into Doge's palace. Let us know your favorite Assassin's Creed memory sequence in the comments, and tell us whether Ubisoft should bring them back.
We can work together. For now.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.